many people in the world who really don't understand. Freedom has many difficulties, but we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in. Freedom is indivisible. And when one man is enslaved, all are not free.
Modern war has become a struggle for men's minds as well as for their bodies. Today we face an enemy who spends enormous sums of money and manpower all over the globe in an attempt to subvert the thinking of the people of the free world, to confuse, divide, and ultimately to subjugate.
It is a contest unlike any we have ever faced in our history as a nation.
Contest for the minds and hearts of people around the world, all people.
When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. We must never forget that art is not a form of propaganda. It is a form of truth.
Psychologists find that control of emotion can be gained by understanding the stimulus-response pattern. Many everyday things become associated with these primary stimuli, partly by a process called conditioning.
It's a strange, shadowy world. The doctored photograph, the misquotation, the insinuation, and the lie.
I think of fire in connection with emotion. Cause, effect.
You've got to get a hold of yourself.
We have to work together. You have to help.
We'll light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
Yes, in modern warfare, our military leaders are finding that words and ideas are highly effective weapons.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of the host, producers, or any affiliated organization. This podcast may include sensitive discussion related to topics such as child protection, abuse, and criminal behavior. The content is intended for informational, educational, and awareness purposes only, does not constitute legal, medical, or professional advice. Any reference to individuals, cases, or events are based on personal perspective, professional experience, or publicly available information and should not be interpreted as statements of fact regarding any specific person or situation. The host, speakers, and producers disclaim any liability for actions taken by listeners based on the content of this podcast. Listeners are encouraged to seek qualified professional guidance for their specific circumstances. Listeners' discretion is advised. All individuals are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. All right. Welcome to Tuesday night's Blount County Breakdown. How's everybody?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Thank you.
We have Robert back. We have Catherine in the house.
Hey.
Matt's in here somewhere. And then there's Jason. How is everyone?
Doing good. Glad to be back, man.
Why was you laughing when you said my name?
I didn't mean it like that, Jason. I just laugh when I talk sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let's see.
Got me paranoid.
No.
You're the resident comedian, Jason.
The resident. He's already picking on me. So we've kind of had a little bit of an eventful week. It's probably not as exciting as some weeks in Blount County, but some things seems like I don't know. Did anybody go to the commission meeting on Thursday?
I did not.
I did not either.
Would they vote themselves in health insurance or
I
something?
did not.
They voted a raise anyway. Yeah.
Maybe a 401 plan, something.
I don't know the exact amount in the very end, but it was the amount that I think we talked about. Wasn't it $1,100?
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe so.
That's a 200% increase. That's pretty substantial. I wish I got that raise this year.
I mean, that's oddly enough, like just the amount where you can't go over if you're on Social Security or disability per year, you know?
Huh. So, you're saying that that amount that they had,
if you make over $1,100 a month, then your disability or your Social Security will cut you out.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know much about that because I haven't had to deal with that yet. Right.
With it.
Well, I think in the end it's going to cost the taxpayers something like $600,000 more for a 4-year term now, where it was, I think, and my math might be off. I can be corrected. That's not a big deal. But I think when I run the initial numbers, it was something like 600,000 additional dollars plus for a 4-year term. So it's over $1 million now that we're paying 21 commissioners, some of which had a less than 70% show up rate.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I didn't probably do my homework this time. Maybe we can do it a little bit better next time, or I can. I was wanting to go back like through a history of exactly where some of these have voted yes and no on over the years, because it's been brought to our attention. It's been 20 years since they've had a raise, and so I'm not saying that one wasn't needed. I wasn't so sure that I don't know. It was just quite a bit. And then has the commission always voted themselves for a raise? Is that how that's always worked? I mean, that may be the normal practice. I don't know.
I would say it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Congress, they vote their own raises and whatnot.
Right. Would make sense, I guess. Yeah. Uh-oh. I think Robert's frozen. He's not going to be happy. I'll just tell you that. He's been working on this thing for over a week to get it correct and right. We did a practice the other night and it went spotless. It was perfect. So, there he is. Are you there? No, you're freezing.
Who, me?
Yes.
Yep. You look like you're doing. You look like you're doing a robot.
There he is. It's just a slight delay.
Looks like I still got some work to do.
I don't know. Like I said, we practiced the other night and it worked out real well. So,
right?
Yeah. So your voice is coming through almost as quick.
Knows, dude.
Oh, maybe not. Yeah. So, Catherine, you had something that you and I had talked about a couple weeks back. We just never got a chance to get into it.
Yeah. So you were talking about, let's see, I guess it's been a couple weeks ago. You talked about your time and your experience when you went to jail.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of where you left off on that night. And one thing I wanted to just bring up, and I just want to talk about this briefly, and I'll jump off. I don't want to take up any time, but I wanted to just mention from a psychological point of view, and my degrees are in forensic psychology. That's my specialty, is criminal behavior. Actually, police psychology also is intertwined with my degrees. So early on in most all psychology classrooms, at least in one aspect of your curriculum, you're going to encounter the Stanford prison experiment. When we talk about there's no possible way that corruption could happen in 37 years of administration, or it doesn't happen because everything is out in the open or transparent, and that's a big hot word, transparency. That is simply not true. And that is proven in the Stanford prison experiment. So the Stanford prison experiment happened at Stanford University in 1971. And the the doctor who done the experiment, there's a lot of documentaries about this. There's at least two that I know of that I've watched both. There's a lot of articles out there. There's a lot of research. There's been expanded. They have expanded on this research a little bit, but it was so psychologically damaging for these people. They had to stop within 3 days. He set this experiment up to go an entire summer. He put out an ad in the paper, and he asked for people that he would pay so much money for, to come in. And what he did was, in the basement of the psychology hall, he set up a jail situation. So he created cells, and some of the people that come in, they just signed up. They didn't know if they were going to be a prisoner, they didn't even know what they were doing, really. So some were prisoners and some were police officers. Some were part of like corrections officers. So they come in. He has them in this basement. He says, okay, here's your uniform. I'm going to give you this. You're going to look like a police officer. You all are this group is going to be inmates. And the inmates are going to be placed in this jail. It didn't take but 3 days for all of this to start, where you had this elevation of ego of the corrections officers who really just were nobody. They had no authority. But it wasn't very long before they started pushing around the inmates. They started, they were cussing them. They were screaming at them. It was so psychologically damaging. I think they may have gotten sued. I can't remember that part of it. But to say that there would be no corruption, all we have to do is look at that experiment. And that is the North Star when you are looking at psychological damage in forensic psychology. We look at that when we look at police psychology, criminal psychology. What happens to people, and I treat people who have come out of jail, who have come out of prison. They have the same symptoms. If you are in jail for any length of time, or if you're a frequent flyer, this happens. And like I told you, Brian, I'm not saying that jail is supposed to be something great, because it's not. It's supposed to be a deterrent. So you don't want conditions that are wonderful, but you do need conditions that are humane. So what happens is people that come out of prison or come out of jail that have spent any length of time in there, they have post-traumatic stress disorder. And I treat a lot of these people who have the same symptoms as returning soldiers from Afghanistan. They can't sleep without the light on. They have a fear of noises. They have a fear of people coming in. They'll shut the door at night. They'll lock their bedroom doors. They have this mindset, and it is all because things that have happened to them. So when we're talking about somebody who's been in leadership for 37 years, if it only took 3 days for this to happen back in 1971, I'm positive that it can happen now. And to say that it doesn't and dismiss that is dismissing every bit of science and psychology that has been researched in the last 50 years, 75 years anyway. at least since World War II.
So would you say like conditions, the environment that they're in? Again, I get that jail's not supposed to be, exciting and all that good stuff like that, but like conditions, cleanliness and all that stuff like that goes along with it. That all plays a role in those kinds of things. Overcrowding, too many inmates in one pod, if that's what you want to call it, or people with mental health that are put in the same pods that people with just regular folks, I guess, if that's the right way to say that.
General population.
Yeah, there you go. So in your studies, though, those all play a role in what goes on as far as corruption, or maybe corruption is the wrong word, mismanagement.
100%.
Yeah. So I got this thing. It's called the Facility Inspection Report for Blount County Correction Facility. It came out April 8th, 2026. You want to go over it real quick before you?
Sure.
And you can stay on as long as you want, Catherine. I know you. But you can go when you want to as well. I just appreciate you guys, you jumping in here real quick. Robert, you look much better. Matt, how are you, buddy?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Whew, boy, that was. I thought I was going to have to turn into an IT guy, and I barely know how to turn a computer on.
It's funny because Ford fan said I needed to give you a raise, Robert, so you could buy a new computer, but it's a new computer.
I was able to hear
it's a new old computer. I built it back in 21, so it's got 5 years on it. I guess that's a dinosaur in tech years, Yeah.
No, see, now Matt's frozen again. Right there. Oh, there he is.
Am I? I was able to hear Catherine what she was saying through my iPad, and I've studied that same Stanford study, and it is wild, and she is spot on with, how that translates over into culture, with that type of authority and whatnot, and the fear, all the things she said. I just wanted to reiterate, she's spot on, and her argument with that, backing it with that study is spot on. And you all need to go on YouTube and watch the study. It's wild as hell.
Huh.
There's a reason why they shut it down.
That's right.
But go ahead with what you're going to.
Okay, so let's pull this up here real quick. It's the Facility Inspection Report for Blount County Corrections. It's April 8th, 2026. Total population was 353, males 293 to females 62. The public lobby is clean and the hallways were clean, right? Intake, which is where if you get arrested, for those that don't know, this is where you come in out of the squad car. You come into this little room. It's got glass all around it, and they go through your pockets to make sure you don't have anything more than what they might have missed when they handcuffed you, put you in the car, and then you go from that room into the intake where you sit down and basically they go through like a bag of, they put all your stuff in, they write it down. I guess take account of what you had, that kind of stuff like that. So intake is general area. Yeah, personal inventory. Housekeeping is good. Office is clean. Primary officers, bathroom clean. Dirt around the ceiling, air vents. Vents need to be scheduled for cleaning. This is going to be the one consistent thing that we see throughout this report, that no matter where you are throughout that facility, the air vents need to be cleaned. From firsthand experience, I don't care where you come in from, the part where they clean you all out before they sit you down, before they put you in a pod, it's filthy in there. Filthy. At one point, I thought they used to have inmates that would clean. I don't know that they kind of do that anymore. So it says showers. Both showers need to be cleaned. The showers curtain have soap scum and need to be cleaned. Ceiling air vents are blowing dirt and dust out into the shower area. So just to give you guys an idea, so when you are in there and you're going to be put into you're going to be put into the pod, right? You're going into general population, as Catherine said. You have to take a shower in front of an officer. You strip down butt naked, and they watch you wash everything real quick and make you wash your hair so you don't walk in there with no lice or anything like that. The other thing they do before you go out into general population is they make you take a shot, or they test you for something. You know about
TB.
that? Yeah, TB. There you go. And then they give you your slippers or I guess flip flops and your stripes. So cell 1, this is just in the intake, occupied, clean except air vents, except for paper stuck on it, no maintenance issues. But anyway, cell 2 was occupied, trash is on the floor. Cell 3 was empty but was clean, maintenance issues noted. Floor drain is stopped up and needs to be flushed. Cell 4 is occupied and clean. Cell 5 is Sally Port or pre-processing, which is the car wash area. Cell 6 was clean. 7. So for the most part, when you come into the intake, it's generally by eye was, pretty clean, except for the vents. And the other thing is, when you're in the pod, if you're there for 12 hours or longer, if you sleep, they only bring a mat in for you to lay down during the time that you're in there, only for the night. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, they wake you up, they bring you breakfast, and they remove that mat because they want you awake. They don't want you sitting there laying down or sleeping or anything like that. So it says ongoing issue: stain and damaged ceiling tiles throughout the area. Floor drains in most cells need to be cleaned and flushed. What's that?
It's like psyops,
So that's the intake when you first walk into there.
Yeah.
Right. The pharmacy. So I guess this is like the medical area. Decontamination area. Floor is dirty, needs to be swept. Mop. Walls need to be clean and sanitized. The other one was occupied. Tissues on air vent. Some dark matter on them. Entire area needs to be cleaned. These are where they set these people in that have mental issues. When I was there, there was a guy that was in there that was basically chained to the bench so that he couldn't get up, and he was screaming and yelling and kicking and pounding, and he was butt naked, and he had thrown feces everywhere. So, I mean, I'm sure there was a reason why they tried to keep him under control. But again, you're asking, I don't know, if you're an intake, how long have you been in? A year maybe? And when you go to officer school to become a deputy or whatever they want to call that, are they trained in the medical necessities of a person that has mental issues? I mean, these are just questions, right? But anyway, for the most part, this thing needs to be cleaned out because it just gets dirty based on the fact that it's for medical necessary. It says medical continues to be cold and damp. Air circulation needs to be improved. All of the cells, doors, pie holes need to be power washed and cleaned. Cells number 3 and 4 are unhealthy, and they need to have wall, ceiling, and floors thoroughly washed and sanitized. Kitchen, for the most part, storage and all that was all pretty good, clean and all that. And then the C pods. I want you to notice something here. The capacity, for the most part, it's under capacity, but C2, it's got 36 when the capacity is 32. C4's got 25 when it was supposed to be 24. It says C pod hallway is clean. That hallway is basically where you walk from intake and they take you into your pod, and they're patrolled by the officers, because on the other side of that hallway is I don't know, it's like a hive that they got video where they can see everything that's going on, open doors by buttons and that kind of thing like that. So the general area is like, that the sheriff would walk through, that kind of thing, because I'm pretty sure he's not walking in cells unless they are putting you in lockdown so that he can come in and do something like that. The general areas are probably clean, but once you get inside the pods and that kind of thing, you're in there with a bunch of men or women, so D-pod hallway clean, some missing ceiling tiles, and then same thing, air vents, dust dirty, floor needs clean, some air vent issues, clean, and these are the pods, D1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. D is basically if you're like what they would call you a bad boy, you can, they put you in D-pod, because I had the order of protection, and the
the so-called post that was on Facebook is what got me arrested. I was such a criminal that I got stuck in the D pod with, all the other criminals, like the ones that, actually stab and kill people like that, which I didn't do any of those things. I just, I posted something on Facebook supposedly because no one has yet to show me that piece of proof. So, but anyway, it goes on. The biggest issue is ventilation, filters, and it's just filthy and nasty. But then when you get into the D pod, I think this is where they really make their money. D1's got 37, capacity's 32. D2's 37, capacity's 32. And mind you, if you're a federal inmate, guess what you get? You get a bed. You don't sleep on the floor because they get they pay to keep the federal inmates inside that Blount County jail. So for the 5 guys that may have been in that D pod, if 5 of them were federal inmates, those other 5 are sleeping on a mat on the floor. They've been removed from their and chances are they're still stuck in that cell because inside the D pod you have cells and it has 2 bunks and a bathroom in it. But there's 4 or 5, especially when I was in there, that were in the same bunk. So you had one guy in one bunk, one guy in another bunk, and then the rest of us were on the floor, plus the urinal/toilet sitting right there. You know what I mean? So just keep in mind, D3's got 36. All the capacities are 32. Only one is under. And I guarantee you this is where they're making their, this is where Barong makes his money is off these federal inmates that are inside these D pods because they are supposedly, what does it say? I think it goes down here. Where's the show? So D1 is minimum medium, D2 is medium, D3 is medium, D4 is medium maximum, D5 is maximum, D6 is maximum. So I was in my cell for, 21 hours because I'm a hardened criminal, just so y'all know, if you're friends with me. Anyway, and I got 3 hours out, like at 2 different times, and all of us just walked around in circles. And then they gave us this tablet. This tablet allowed you to watch movies, and then if you wanted to watch anything that was worship-wise or spiritual, it was all Rio Church. They seem to have like the, I don't know, they seem to have like something with it, they're intertwined, that tablet and their church services and all that. And then you can actually put money on that thing. So if if you're in there long enough, you can make a video call and talk to your parent or family member, wife, daughter, son, whatever, through FaceTime basically is what it is. And then you can watch movies if you have money put on it, and then there's a fee for everything. So if you put money on it, whoever's putting the money on it is getting charged a fee that goes to, I'm sure some of it goes to the county, some of it goes to whatever. So the D pod is overpopulated. The facility is dirty. The air ventilation is bad. The what do they call that? The medical part of it is in need of help. The building's 25 years old?
Yes, now,
yeah, something like that. 25 years old. So the other part is we know that they went through a spell there where there was no hot water in the inside the jail for a substantial amount of time. I believe the only reason they got busted for it was because of the tablet, where people were complaining about the fact that they had to wash with cold water. So it made a big enough uproar that they actually brought like this shower unit in, and each pod would come out individually and get hot showers and then have to go back in. And I guess they did that daily until they got it fixed. Now, I know there's a budget at that Blount County Sheriff's Department. Robert probably knows it better than I do what the numbers are off the top of his head.
14 million.
Okay.
14 million a year.
Is it? I thought it was more than that. I thought it was up in the 30s.
It may that the sheriff's department gets, I think, 22 million somewhere. I may be under Robert, but it's the bulk of those two are the top 2 tiers of where Blount County money goes.
Right.
I mean, we have a list of that. I don't know where we went to.
So these are the institutional breakdowns that I'm talking about. The biggest part of the public sees Barong and they think everything is okay. But if you actually, I guess my little stint in jail was kind of like a little psyop, so to speak, because I got to spend 4 days to see how things actually worked. And before I spent the 4 days in jail, I was it didn't matter to me what was going on inside there because it didn't concern me. It didn't affect my day-to-day life, those kinds of things. So, but once I think Shirley, whose last name has escaped me at the moment, is one who sent me this. And she sent it to me 2 weeks ago, and I forgot about it last week. We probably should have talked about it. But since Catherine was on the show for a little bit tonight, I thought it fit in well with what was going on.
Well, one thing that I hear you say when you're reading that, and I did read that also, but one thing I hear you continuously say is there's paper on the vents.
Right.
So I've had reports of people coming back when they come back in for treatment with me. They will tell me that there's actually poop on that paper, and they will actually rub poop on the light covers to block the light from coming in because they keep it on all the time. So that is, anybody would know that that's animalistic. That's disgusting. So surely instead of turning people into animals, we could come up with a better way to handle that situation with people. And again, I'm not saying that jail is supposed to be great and some holiday, because it's not. It's supposed to be a deterrent to recidivism or to crime.
Right.
But the problem is we also can look at sociology. In sociology, there's a theory. It's called the broken windows theory. And this theory says that along a city's waterfront, like Knoxville has a waterfront, Blount County semi has a waterfront. We have a lake, a pond, or whatever that is down there. But those places that have broken windows and the town, the city part of it is run down, there's higher crime rates. There's a lot of homelessness, vagrancies, drug use, a lot of heinous crimes will happen there, like murders, things like that. So if we look at sociology and we bring that back over to the jail situation, we also can look at Norway and look at the way that they handle their prison systems, completely different than here. But are we creating an environment where people are going out and they just don't care? Or are we causing them relapse? That's I could go into a whole different thing with that. But, and again, I'm not saying that they did something right or they would not be there. But we also know that there's innocent people in jail, right? So people that get caught up in things that, just like your story, that's not a crime that you committed. So we're subjecting people to these conditions that are inhumane.
Right.
Let's also note that there is a very high percentage of people in there, like Heath Baytag said, that are being held in there and never ain't been convicted, ain't been to court, nothing like that.
So on this report that you brought that up, it says Jason Antonine reports that he's been held for more than a year without being contacted by counsel or having his day in court. He's being housed by Blount County for Loudoun County and has no direct information regarding his status or projected court dates.
That's wild, dude.
And that's on this.
It's wild and illegal.
That's on that report right there, yeah. I don't know how they can just keep you without any due process whatsoever. But they're
not supposed to.
So then the other thing is
volunteer into that stuff. In the very beginning, as soon as you take a deal or any of that, like violations of probations, all that stuff bring you back. But yeah, before you even get charged, it's got to be a matter of money. You get caught for something, you get put in jail. And then you don't get out of jail until your court date unless you got some money.
Right. I mean,
and just think how many. Well, I mean, I know you ain't been in trouble much. I've got a pretty good history, but imagine how many times a person goes to court the first time for very first offense, and it never gets taken care of that first time. It's the third time usually. You know,
that's done by design. You come in your first time and they tell you, well, you got so many days to get an attorney or whatever. You know what I mean? So when I went to court the first time, I told him that I had an attorney. He didn't show up with me yet because he told me this is exactly what was going to happen. So the next 2 weeks out, then my attorney showed up, and what did they do? They postponed it again for another 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And so it kept me away from everything and all that. You know. So, but anyway.
The American judicial system is one of the biggest money makers that we have. I mean, it is a money maker.
Yep. Oh yeah, that
absolutely
the allocated budget, the adopted budget for the sheriff department's 20.6 million. That's what it was adopted.
So we went over a report, I don't know, a few weeks back where it talked about Blount County was not the biggest county in the state, and the crime rate, like major crime, was extremely low. So the amount of officers and vehicles and everything that goes on our county is like right there at the top with some of the biggest counties in the state that have twice the square footage of property, people, and all that. And yet we're right there with them when it comes to all that. So the report actually said it makes its money mostly, from the civilian population that's within the community, because it doesn't have a lot of major crime. And I don't know, I could pull the study out again, but it's not going to make a bit of difference. But anyway, I did want to talk about this, and I knew Catherine wanted to carry on with that, which is good, because I think, it's good to have the experts. Everybody talks about experts, right? All the politicians, they make deals and rules and laws based off of the information that comes from an expert. So when we get to have an expert on the show that's talking about some of the things that are real issues within the jail system in the community here, that's pretty good.
I do see the jail separate. So the jail is around almost 15 million. Then the sheriff's department separately is almost 21 million.
Right. So you're right. It's up there 35, 30.
All together.
And
there's some good comments in the comment section.
And I do understand that if you, because I see that in the comment section, don't get in trouble and you won't have to worry about it. Okay, that's a great theory, but how many people have been in the wrong place at the wrong time and it not be them? Just like your story, Brian, you weren't a criminal. We can actually criminalize people that aren't criminals. I mean, we have to remember these are people that live right around us. I mean, there are plenty. I work with criminals on there. There are plenty of them here. And they know they have problems and they struggle, and they some try to do better, some don't. But sometimes it's the average person that gets caught up in stuff. And I'll tell you my story, and I'll be real brief on this. So I went through a divorce back in 99. No, I apologize. It started in 97 and it ended in 99. So during this time, I had to move from my house. We sold our house in Monroe. It was on the Monroe. It was in Blount County, but it's on the Monroe County, Loudoun County line. It was down there on 9 Mile Creek. Okay, so during this time, I was moving. And I had to make a final house payment. Well, the final house payment was sent in. I was notorious. It was my fault. I didn't write down where I had gotten gas for $10. So I was struggling as a single mom, going through a divorce, selling my house, trying to move, get all this stuff together. And when I got gas, I just didn't write it down. So when I didn't write it down, it goes to my bank. My bank cleared the house payment because they're going to clear the most expensive thing first. There was an NSF, and I thought, what NSF? So by the time I got up there to fix it, it had ran through twice. Now, this was back in the days before there were duplicate checks or there were a way to, track anything like we have now. So we didn't even have debit cards, I don't think, back then. It was all check or cash. So anyway, I move and I go to my bank and I'm like, where is this? And they said, we don't know because we didn't have a copy, but we couldn't pay it because, so anyway, I give the bank the $70 for the 2 NSF fees plus the 80 plus another 10, plus I put a buffer in my account. I didn't touch that account, never touched it again. The check was written in Vonore at Sloan's BP. Okay, so I'm living back in Blount County. We had divorced, and I was I was living there. That was the time I was out of District 10 for like 2 years. So anyway, I moved back home, moved back up here with my kids, knocked on the door about 12 o'clock at night, and I thought, what is going on? It was the police. It was Blount County, and I thought, oh my gosh, something's happened to my family. Never in my wildest imagination could I have imagined that I had written a check and they were going to arrest me for it from Monroe County. And the reason I didn't know where it was is because they don't forward certified mail, and Sloan's had sent me a certified letter. Even though I had a forwarding address, I had no idea. So I went to jail.
People don't know how easily it can happen.
That's right. Easily.
You break the damn law every day and you don't even know it.
You don't know it.
But I guarantee you, as soon as there's a badge standing there to nail your ass, you're going to be singing a different tune.
That's exactly right.
Well, don't. It's so easy. Right. Just don't get in trouble. It's that easy. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life.
Yeah, because there's no way you do break the law. I didn't have my seatbelt on the other day, and I looked down. I'm like, how long have I been driving without my seatbelt? I mean, I had to put it on. I thought I broke the law.
There's a lot of laws out there that there ain't no way the average citizen can know. Case in point, go fly a drone up there on the parkway to get you some pretty pictures.
Right.
Who in the hell knew it's a
illegal.
Federal law?
That's right.
You can't fly in national parks. But it's that easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't even realize it, man.
Mm-mm.
Well, to your point about the seatbelt and criminalizing people, I've been arrested 2 or 3 times. I'm not afraid to admit it. It's all over stupid stuff. But this one isn't about me. I had just gone to court about one of the times. And there was a lady there that showed up for her court appointment. And just talking about the seatbelt, to your point, Kevin. She had shown up to pay her fine. Now, this was back years ago whenever the $10 seatbelt fine was a big deal. You remember when it first came along, it was going to be a $10 seatbelt fine if you didn't have your seatbelt. She showed up to court. You could tell she had came to work. She was, she was trying to hurry and get out of court to go back to work. And she did not realize that she had missed a court appointment, a court date. And so they got her for contempt. They arrested her right there on the spot. So there she is. Let's look at the trickle effect. Like she said immediately, hold up, my kids. Well, okay, her kids. Yep. Then on top of that, this used to happen much more so years ago, but you get arrested, they're more likely you're going to lose your job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the trickle down effect. Then you got the fines. Then you got to pay the court costs. Then you got to do this, and then you got to do that over a damn $10 seatbelt fine.
Right.
Yes, we criminalize people that are not criminals.
That's what I used to love.
They wonder why we don't want to trust them or what. I support them. Don't get me wrong. I support them. But you can very easily see where the argument for, why people have the raw attitude towards them or don't trust them or whatever. Because it's I immediately breathed wrong around one of them. I mean, last time I did get arrested, I broke up a fight down in front of 2 doors down, and so I didn't know the people, but anyways, they left some of their items on one of those picnic tables out front of the out next to the road. Well, it was a digital camera and a credit card. Well, a black guy was in the fight, and you could tell by the name it was a black guy's credit card. So I took it to, what was the owner's name of 2 doors down back then?
I have no clue.
Yeah, anyways, I took it to him. Well, as I turned around to walk away from him, the Smaryville City cop came up in my ear. First of all, I don't like people coming up from behind me. It's part of my training. You don't surprise me. Don't.
Yeah.
Well, he comes up in my ear and yells, like, right here, I said, if you don't leave, you're going to jail. So I just simply turn around after I jumped, because he caught me off guard. I said, man, there's no need to flex on me. I'm leaving. That's it. You're going to jail. So he arrested me right there on the spot. I broke up the fight. I took the guy's belongings back to the bar owner. That way there would be a good point of contact and everything else. I go to jail. Not only do I go to jail, I go into jail and I'm in the tank. And he got me for public intoxication, which he never proved it. But anyways, well, so I'm in the holding tank, and this dude comes in after me. He's pinging off the walls. He had swallowed a bag of crack. He literally fessed up to it. He was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I mean, this dude was whacked out. Well, he got out probably 3 hours after he's in there, 4 hours in there. He got out probably 10 hours before I did. Came in after me, got out before me. Swallowed a bag
Probably a
of crack.
frequent flyer.
You know what? What the hell? And I was on my way to work that night. Anyways, it's crazy.
Shirley Ann Rupert said that Blount County paid $80,000 for that jail study that deemed Blount County unfit and paupers prison.
Ooh.
And he says the Supreme Court did away with debtor's prison. Technically speaking, they can't lock you up over owed fines.
I love that. They spent $80,000 for what anybody that's not a complete fucking dipshit could spend 24 hours locked up in that place and figure out the same thing.
4 days.
Yeah, the same thing. Jeez.
80 grand. And surely
we're sitting here talking about this. We're good. We're good citizens of our community. We really are. But to sit here and hear our story, Jason is the only one that's not spoken up. I don't know if he has a arrest record, but 4 of the 5 have arrest record.
Poor Catherine.
But you know what?
I mean, yeah.
It's so silly.
You didn't know I was that person, did you?
Oh, God, I don't know if we can hang around somebody that writes bad checks, Robert.
So now we're on the. Now you know who the friend and who the felon is.
Right.
Making the hair stand up on my arms, man.
But you know what I mean? It does go to prove that, to your all's point, it's creating criminals out of good ass citizens. I mean, if you were to be approached by, let's just say you go to speak to a psychologist, and they ask you point blank, "Have you ever been arrested?" Yes. Well, I mean, you do that in a job interview. You do that in work. But listen to what they're criminalizing and compromising people's future with. And there's 4 of us out of the 5 that have those exact scenarios.
And see,
where we're criminals.
I thank God for my job because they tried to destroy me. You know what I mean? They tried to, and my job actually stuck up for me and said that the individual you're talking about, that's not the guy that we see on a daily basis. So they told him to go kick sand and catch me in the county and not to come back on, the property to look for me, So I was happy, but I didn't find that out till like 3 or 4 months later. You're fine, Catherine. I have a cat You know, I mean, it's knocked over my drink in the middle of a podcast. I've had to pause it and all kinds of stuff. So.
I'm like Matthew. I mean, like if something behind me, I have to sit with my back to the wall.
It's behind you, yeah.
Okay, I don't take him out.
Okay, so I wanted to move on to Kevin's article over the PPE. Did you guys read any of that? Catherine, if you feel like you need to go, you just let us know.
Yeah,
Okay?
I will let you all go. And I appreciate y'all letting me come on here and talk about this because it's something, you know, and again, this is just something that I see on a daily basis. I'm real protective of the people that I work with because I see them falling into these traps time and time again where they're just frequently coming in and they're people, they have depleted their money, you know, they're paying thousands. If they even at the first, maybe they can get an attorney, but after that second or third time, they can't. So they just keeps them in this system. And I think we can do better. We can do better.
It's like extortion. It's like extortion. You pay this money,
absolutely,
or you go to jail.
That's absolutely right.
That's damn near the definition of it.
It's funny.
Yeah. Well, somebody said in the comments, "Is this not basically human trafficking?" I mean, it can be either or.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Sure can.
And I just feel like we're at a time in this world where we can do better than this, and we've just kind of accepted it. You know, we've accepted because this is what it's been for 37 years. And before that, with the other leadership, we have some people that are sitting, you know, in leadership in this county that are more criminals than some of them sitting behind bars. And I know that 100%. So
that being said, with everything that we're talking about right here, if everything was on the up and up in this county and criminals were not running it, I would not be running this race right now. To be real honest, I would not be running for highway superintendent. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm running it.
Well, thank you all so much, and I'll jump off of here and I'll finish watching everything. But thank you all so much. I'll see you all soon.
Hang on before you leave, because it was called Felon and Friends. Now we should call it Felons and Friends, since Jason's not one, right?
I told y'all, in third grade, I got in trouble for breaking and entering.
In third grade.
In high school, I got grand theft larceny, but I was underage both times. So my stuff, we went to, I can't remember the judge we went in front of. I don't remember his name, a long time ago. But the grand theft larceny.
It's all under the blood because it's under 18.
We got our rights read to us, but we made restitution with the people that we grand thefted, and we're good.
We got a call one night, late at night. My son had gotten, he didn't get arrested, but he TWRA caught him hunting behind. Here's another example. TWRA, he was hunting during the day, and they had kept him. Now, I don't know how many hours, like 4 or 5 hours. Him and his friends, of all the things that they could have been doing, they were deer hunting in Greenback, and they hunted across the line. Now, he says he didn't know when they crossed this line because there was no signs up that they were leaving the property they had permission to hunt on. So they basically just gave him the third degree for hours. TWRA did. And by the time he called us, we're like, "You're where? What is happening here? I thought you were hunting. I didn't, whatever." But anyway, that could have easily went bad. I mean, you can fish. You fish without a license and see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
TWRA will write you a citation. I mean, and hunting behind he had a lifetime hunting and fishing license, so he was well licensed, and he had permission from the other landowner to be hunting down there. But he crossed over into TVA property. That was it. TWRA got them. So I was like, but anyway.
Wildlife people.
Yeah.
The wildlife people will burn you.
Yeah, and I thought that's what was going to happen too.
Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency. That's what TWRA is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much.
Yeah.
I
You're
appreciate
welcome,
y'all.
Catherine. You come
Thank
back
you.
anytime.
I will.
Good
Thank
talking.
you.
All right, bye.
See ya.
Yeah.
Let me figure out how to turn it all off.
I'll kick
Okay.
you. Don't worry. You get kicked out of here. This is how it happens. See you later. All right. Did I do it right?
The TWRE is the wildlife people?
Yeah, Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency.
Okay. Most people don't fare well with them.
They have-
do something.
Yeah, they have so much authority. It's not even funny.
They got more. They got more authority than the police.
Yeah. They can show up. They can get warrants in the middle of the night and everything. Like a lot of times, THP and other police officers will have TWRA show up for stuff like that because they can't get a judge to
Right.
It's
Do they even got to have a warrant?
They had a show, remember, where they were catching people that were poaching deers, and it was amazing all the things that they could do. I didn't realize how much authority that they had. You guys are right. It's almost more than what the local sheriff has to have. Hey, did you guys see that Kevin J. McNeil started Tennessee Truth News Reporting? Isn't that cool?
Yes, it is.
It's very cool, man. So, because I think
like how his resume it is. It's like good. Okay, wow.
His resume, yeah.
He's like, I'm not playing around. What's this?
I like it when he includes me. It makes me feel a little bit better. He's like, hey, check us out. So anyway, this is the PP funding gap. Pellissippi Parkway Extension projects lists $40 million in program funding, but full build still estimated at $350 million. So it's by Kevin J. McNeil, investigative reporter for Tennessee Truth LLC, and the date is June 22nd. He says the long-planned Pellissippi Parkway Extension project, I guess it's 101423, has taken another step forward in the Regional Transportation Planning document with the Knoxville Regional Transportation Planning Organization, the TPO. Remember we talked about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Listing $40 million plus in the draft for fiscal year 26 through 29 transportation improvement project tip. The transportation officials stress that the $40 million figure does not represent cash on hand or fully fund a project. Instead, it reflects reasonably expected funding, a federal requirement for tip inclusion rather than a complete financial commitment. So, according to DDOT, most recent projections, the full Pellissippi Parkway extension is approximately $350 million when all phases designs are done. Utility and construction are included. $40 million programmed in the tip represents only a portion of the total and is tied to the specific phases scheduled within the 26-29 planning window. The tip entry allows the project to advance but does not guarantee that the remaining hundreds of millions will be available when needed. So it says transportation planners emphasize that tip funding is not a bank account. No money is transferred, deposited, or obligated when the project is listed. Instead, the $40 million reflects a planning level commitment by TDOT, a fiscally constrained estimate of what funding is likely to be available, eligibility for the project to move into federal authorization steps, and a placeholder for future appropriations, obligations, and state budget actors. It sounds like a lot of administrative there. Actual dollars only move when TDOT authorizes each phase by the Federal Highway. It says, with the project now programmed in the tip, TDOT can continue advancing environmental, design, and right-of-way activities. However, the majority of the estimated $350 million total cost remains unfunded and will require future tip amendments. What do you guys think? See that graph? It shows where it's Pellissippi ends and it comes down. I know we've probably talked about this to blue in the face, but it's just still out there. There's still people talking about it. And it's bound to come back up in the meeting again. It keeps getting tabled, right?
I don't
Ed Mitchell.
know. It keeps getting put off. I don't know if tabled is the correct term because certain.
Okay, thank you.
You know,
I
but
see.
yeah, it keeps getting put off. Whatever the
reason behind it is.
There again, I think.
Yeah.
There again, I think when something like that happens and something's brought forward more than twice, I think there should be, you know, if something is rejected 2 times, and the people and the commission is voting by their constituents' voice, the people have spoken. We don't want this. We don't want that. We're telling you no. Don't bring it up again. I mean, like I said, I think I might have said it on here the last time. It very much reminds me of a little 4-year-old in the checkout aisle at the grocery store crying for candy until the parents finally give in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's exactly what it reminds me of. I mean, we'll just keep trying. We'll just keep trying. We'll just keep trying, you know? No.
So we know that this has all been going on for 20 years or longer.
1977.
Right. So, and I don't know how, I can't speak for the people, you know, back in 1977. Maybe some of these guys on here can, but I got to believe that nobody wanted it then like they don't want it now. So if we go back to what Jason's date is, that's a lot of time of just not listening to your voting base whatsoever, man.
Well, I think, that being said, I think that it was much easier to get stuff like this moved along back in those days than it is now. I mean, with the internet, just what we're doing right now,
right?
You know, we can keep information out there, and it's a constant flow of information. Well, back then, everything was already signed and everything else before it ever even made the news cycle and was printed in the newspaper, you know? And so think about all the stuff they got away with back in those days because there was no way of holding them accountable almost at the moment that something was said or done or signed, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breaking and entering grand theft larceny.
But it is amazing, you know, that most everybody I know, don't get me wrong, there are some out there that I've met that think it's a good idea. They base it off the fact that it's going to be quicker for them to move towards Knoxville versus going through downtown Maryville to get to, you know, Alcoa Highway or Pellissippi Parkway or, you know, that kind of stuff. So, even me, where I live and where it comes out on 321, is still probably a faster, more direct route when it's finished. By the time it's finished, I'll be retired, so it won't matter. I probably won't get to use it for work purposes anyway, you know. But yeah, it's you know, just another thing that I don't know what we got to do to get people to listen sometimes. We just don't want it. I can say this. I think Greenback a long time ago passed up some options for growth in their community, and it went across the river to the other side. You know what I'm saying? And they sort of fell behind, but they pretty much kept their farming community the way that they wanted to. I think some things are changing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some things are changing where they're bringing in some things. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, they did. They're doing okay. They didn't fall into despair. Their taxes didn't go through the roof. All this crap that I've heard, you know, if we just cut growth out here for, you know, 5 years, oh God, you can't do that. Taxes go through the ceiling. You want people coming in. You want new businesses being built. That's a tax relief on the citizens, and it's like how. Hell, y'all raise taxes on us all the time on everything. Everything we're taxed on that the county gets.
Every business that comes in gets a tax break.
Well, just think about how many boards there are. Well, we got Blount Partnership. Now we got Partnership Blount, which I didn't know existed until the lady that is affiliated with them went to Blount Parks and Recs and asked for a.
Now Blount Partnership is an umbrella. that that links all those other ones together. You know, they just put out a whole little write up about that on their Facebook page. You know, that how they just kind of bring all these other institutions together to make things happen. That you know, they're not solely responsible for that.
And then don't we have a tourism board?
Yep, that falls under the partnership.
It falls under the partnership,
Yeah,
right? So I mean, so we got all these boards and these entities that are making sure that we're continuing to grow at such a pace that the infrastructure can't keep up with, which is why Matt Snow is running for highway superintendent as a write-in, because if everybody was communicating the same way, then you would think that whatever the guy's name is, whose names escape me, would say, hey guys, you can't keep bringing stuff in here until I get the infrastructure for it ready, or at least on pace to be ready.
Right.
But
Which
it
guy are you
doesn't
speaking
happen. The one you're running against.
Oh,
Jeff Hedrick. I forget it. That's Hedrick. Yeah, I forget his name. So as far as but we have all these boards, you know, so and they're don't get me wrong, I think there's all the commissioners are a part of boards too, right? Some are on boards, maybe not all of them. And these are these other boards that we're talking about that they're involved in. And so it's almost a conflict of interest if they're a part of that and a part of the commission. They talk about they want to keep growth at a minimum, but yet it continues to, you know, to go into fast forward. I mean, it's grown in 20 years. Would you not agree? I mean, exponentially grown in 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And so, and again, none of us wanted it that much. You know what I'm saying? As far as, like, again, I was just a dude that was, you know, moving along through life, not caring much about anything, and then woke up and thought, where the hell all the traffic come from? You woke up in jail one day and said, what the hell's going on inside this facility? I mean, what the crap, you know? It's just like, you know, these things didn't bother my everyday life. If you didn't mess with me over my football or, you know, some sort of sports or something like that, I didn't want to know what was going on. So, you know, over the last 10 years, you know, I've kind of and then here's another thing. So if most of us are waking up now, we don't like it, right? What about all the same people that have been voting this way since 1977, right? The same way, over and over and over again, believing that when they vote that this is going to change when they vote in the new person, or this is going to change when they. So if you remove some, you know, the same group of 12,000 people have continued to vote the bullshit in over and over and over again, and then defend it daily like we live in this, you know, county that's not growing the way that when you wake up one day and there it is. Like everybody's looking at their phones.
I was listening to you though. Yeah, I mean, it did seem like it was almost an overnight thing. Sure, it took time, and it's to your point, the people voting in hopes of changing things, and they just keep on getting the same pile of shit. You know, it's just like, you know, you do lose faith in the election system.
Well, not 12,000. The 12,000 are getting their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then you got to blame it on the rest of the county that's not showing up to vote, if that's even true. I don't know that it's not true. My opinion on voting is it's manipulated. You know what I'm saying? So
there's no way for us to know other than just what they tell us.
And it comes off the news, off of a paper or something like that. You know what I mean? I know they have the election commission. What's her name? Hatcher? Cindy? Is it Cindy Hatcher?
Hatcher.
Okay, so Cindy Hatcher. Back when it was the Barong and Burns were going, they were in the primary. Cindy Hatcher sends out a message to let him know that whoever's putting out these AI generated campaign ads on behalf of Jerry could be illegal, and if he was to win, it could stop him from being sworn in as sheriff. And so this lady's up for election. She's up for election. I think she's the only conservative. She's running against a Democrat. She'll probably win it, but you guys need to know that Cindy Hatcher, who's a part of it's an election committee, correct? Reached out to Jerry to let him know that all these other people that were doing things that he didn't approve it. He even had to make a stupid page to bring it out to let him know that he didn't approve any of this, because had he beat the sheriff in the votes, that they could remove that and continue to keep the sheriff in there. So this is from the election board that basically said we can take the voice of the people based on the fact that they're promoting you in a way that we don't agree with.
Well, and to that point, and this is not a plug for the race that I'm running in, it's the same exact thing. They write the rules, they write the regulations to where it fits them and puts up a wall, and there again, that's on the state's behalf. But these county commissioners or these county highway superintendents also fill these boards that are also side boards off of the state certifying board. Anyways, it gets complex if you dig down into it. It's wild. But anyways, so that being said, they double down in the Blount County Election Commission over here, and you can't. They can count your vote if they want to. They don't have to if they don't want to, more or less.
Well, hang on, Matt. Hang on. Ford Fan 350 says, "Don't go hating on the 15,000 and whining because they vote. Go hate on the ones that don't vote." Right? I did. I said if these are, and by the way, that number is not 15,000. It's probably 12,000. I did. I said the ones that don't show up to vote, and we've made that very, very clear. But for the last 50 years, you same 12 to 15,000 have continued to vote this stuff in while you get on social media and complain about what you don't like.
Yep.
So you guys are dying out. That number is going to dwindle down eventually. So that number is going to change here in the future. You know what I mean? They're not going to be around that much more longer, But that's the truth. Those people don't show up to vote. That's a legitimate bitch. But the ones that have continued to vote the same way since 1977 is the reason that this community is in the way that it is. They're part of the problem.
Yep.
But if you bring that to their attention, then I get stuff like I hit the BS button. So but he's not lying. At the same time, he is not lying. He's not lying. But my point is, it's the same 15,000 people that are complaining about the overgrowth, this, that, and the other, but they're continuing to voting those same people in, talking about how they're waiting on it. It's going to change this time. It's not going to change.
And it's the same people that continues to get voted in that are actually the ones doing these things, just like we were saying, that are taking our votes away from us, that are taking our voice away from us.
They create this little election committee of people that they put on this little group, right? I'm going to help you win. 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 And in that way, the cycle just continues to carry on. You're voting in somebody new, believing that they're going to change, but yet they're following the same path of the individual that no longer is in there or was voted out. It's just rinse and repeats doing the same thing. I mean, they put a big billboard up paid by Mike Akert, right? The East Tennessee Coalition, Misty and all of them. There's like 5 or 6 of them. I think most of all of them. Yeah, they all won. We don't think that they weren't getting together and talking about all the things that they want to make sure that these changes come forward. So by voting them in, you're voting in the exact same bullshit that we were voting out to begin with, right? So here we are. It's
yeah. Then they got
he's right. He's right. There's 35 or 40,000 out there that complain all the time and don't show up on voting day. But I'm right, because it's the same 12 or 15,000 that are bitching about the community the way that it is, and you continue to vote them in. It just makes no sense to me. So, you want to move on to the Townsend thing? I was trying to get Christina Delaney to come on because she was a part of that, where the community or the people that were voted in, did this secret meeting and cut some rules and this, that, and the other, and they voted something in, and she busted them on it and went through the proper channels, and bloop, they removed that. And so when they
people have, I'm sorry,
no,
the Townsend people have secret meetings like Blount County does.
Yeah, they're called war rooms.
Oh, that's messed up.
So let's see.
That's worse than two little boys having.
But she is. Let's see, share this tab. But she is. She's running for Townsend Commission now, right, Robert? Am I saying that right?
I believe so, for the Planning Commission, if I am mistaken.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So let's see. Townsend annual financial report. Says Townsend releases fiscal 2025 annual report, strengthening fiscal oversight. Again by Kevin J. McNeil. Does a fantastic job, I'll just tell you. The city of Townsend released its annual. I know. Released its annual financial report for the fiscal year ending of June 30th, 2025. While the municipality maintains stable net positions, auditor highlighted critical areas for improvement in financial management and budget compliance. The independent audit identified two primary areas of concern: material weakness and financial oversight. Finding 25-001, auditors found that from July 2020 through February 24, internal controls over cash disbursements process were insufficient. This includes inadequate documentation for purchases, lack of oversight on credit card expenses, and failures in properly securing cash or ensuing pre-numbered receipts. Additionally, an investigation by the Tennessee Comptroller of Treasury uncovered misappropriations by former city manager totaling $3,954, which have since been repaid. Budget overspending, finding 2025-002, expenses in both the State Street Aid Fund and the Drug Fund exceeded their budget appropriation, violating state statutes. In response, the city is implementing a new financial management software system featuring a purchase module to mandate purchase orders and real-time oversight. Staff has also been retained on cash handling and deposit protocols. You know who else fell into this? The city of Alcoa, right? They just there's this TBI investigation or something going into some of the same things. And again, we are asking the same people that created the problem to fix the problem. Yeah. Now it's a software issue. I mean, they that number what's $3,954, which has since been repaid. But had it not been caught, it never would have been repaid. Again, these people are voted in to do a responsible duty, civic duty here, and they got to pay firms to come in and audit them to let them know where they made all their errors and mistakes, all while knowing that they made these errors and mistakes, Notable items and notes. Key disclosures from the financial notes includes restatement. The city implemented a GASB 101 regarding compensated absences, which required restating the beginning fund balance and net position of June 30th, 2024. We messed up, so I think we're just going to go back to all zeros. What do you think? Hey, that budget looks really good all of a sudden. Pension plans. The city participates in the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, TCRS. And as of June 30th, 2024, measurements date, the city reported a net pension liability of $80,801. Defined contribution plan. Since 2020, the city's offered a 401k plan matching up to 3% of the employee's compensation. Assets. As of June 30th, the city reported a total assets of $2 million plus, and this includes current assets of $1 million plus, and then capital assets of $1 million plus. Debt leases, long-term debt. The city retired $40,000 in principal during the year, leaving $84,000 in outstanding general obligation capital outlay refunding notes. They're in debt too, the same as the county. Right?
Well, he'll give him a raise.
Okay. The city holds a vehicle lease with the remaining balance of $66,754 as of June 30th, having paid down $20,797 during the fiscal year. I got this to say. This community, Townsend, Blount County, all of this, we generate, what is it? What's our GDP? Is it in the billion?
I don't know.
I mean, you're talking a budget at the sheriff's department is almost 40 million. So that's got to be 10% of what the county GDP brings in. So that's 40 billion. I'm thinking it's
I think they set the county budget at around 320 or 370 million.
Yeah. How in the hell are we in debt?
Special project.
Well, that's complicated, Brian. I'm glad you asked.
But that one person says that the jail buys chocolate milk and ice cream, but they must take it home. They ought to cut that out.
I didn't get chocolate milk or ice cream.
I did a quick search. Now I don't know.
That's what he's saying.
I'm not familiar with this website, but I did a quick Google search of Blount County's GDP, and it says that it's approximately $8 billion. Now this is 23 because
$8 billion.
Yeah.
I swear I saw a number. It was bigger than that, but that's okay. Still $8 billion.
It ranks
what?
It ranks as the 13th largest county economy out of Tennessee's 95 counties.
Okay.
Contributing to about 1.6 to the statewide GDP.
Okay, so still $8 billion. How are we in debt?
Yeah,
we have Townsend, the Smoky Mountains, the Dragon. Hell, they make enough tickets out there on the Dragon that would nearly support the sheriff's department's employees. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've been out to the Dragon, but I used to run that Dragon all the time. I mean, on my motorcycle, all that, and they're daily out there writing tickets, state troopers, all that stuff, and that kind of thing. So really, if we have an $8 billion GDP annually, how are we in debt? And again, it's the same people voting in the same thing, how do you fix something? We've been talking about, you got, term limits at one point. Remember, you got to vote them out. We're not voting them out because the same 12 to 15,000 people they're okay with that, I guess, right? I mean, essentially, the 12 to 15,000 people are what runs the county. You know what I mean? Because, it doesn't matter who's in the position. The outcome is exactly the same, except a little more. And we're not bitching about the people that do vote and don't vote, because again, we've made it very clear that the county doesn't come out and vote. And there's a big reason why, because they have no faith in the people in the leadership of this county whatsoever. So they just stay home. You talk to these people, and that's my vote doesn't count, whatever it is, and they're legal registered voters, and they just don't care. They show up and vote for the president because they think that's what is supposed to change, local politics, and it doesn't. It just changes it, on a federal level. And that's because the lack of education that we have in the school system to let people know just exactly how this country operates, So again, an $8 billion economy just in this county alone. I don't know why we have any debt whatsoever. It's fiscally irresponsible. I could not run my home that way. I don't think any of the three of you could. I don't think anybody talking on this chat, Ford Fan 365, who owns many, many things and businesses, you can't operate that way and keep it, because it just doesn't work. But yet the people that are elected in these positions to get these things under control, which they created the problem to begin with, we're in debt. We're in debt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what happens if we go in debt bad enough? What happens if we go as individuals, homeowners, go in debt bad enough? They seize our assets, right? We don't have. I mean, we can't just go and ask a panel of people, hey, we hand over a couple $1 million so I can get back out of debt, or so I can make this happen. I promise you'll like what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is what's being talked about right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and this is what we do. So I know it's not for everybody, but that's okay. But it just
you think it would be for everybody, because this is everybody's money. Everybody's paying for everything that's going on in this county.
What I'm liking going on right now is, the people of Blount County are finally waking up, and they're pissed off. Unfortunately, the intruder has made it into the threshold of the doorway instead of us stopping them years ago when they were out in the driveway. You know what I mean? It's easier to fight somebody at the threshold of your doorway, but it's good that they're at least starting to wake up and voice their concerns and their frustrations with what's taking place in this county.
The commissioner meeting should be full of people, but it only is. Well, it is once in a while, but there should be people out.
I'm guilty. I mean, I should be there every time the thing's open, but it's I don't know. I don't go as much as I should go because I don't think that it doesn't matter. The deal's already been made. You show up for the workshop, that deal's already been made. You show up for the commission meeting when they voted in for it because it's already been made. You get your 3 minutes before to voice your opinion on what's on the agenda, and then at the end 3 minutes. And I'm glad they do all that, but there's no interaction with the community. And they say that you can reach out to them, email them, call them, meet them in the back parking lot. And even with all those avenues, and even if all of those follow through with it, it doesn't change. And
it don't change shit.
Ford Fan 365 is right. If that's how they feel, then so be it. Let them continue to get what they deserve. Don't vote, don't get. And I agree with that. I mean, you can't argue with that, So, and you're right, Matt. There's a lot of people that claim to be mad. They're not happy about the things that are going on, but they don't show up and vote. They don't. And to beat it all, they've made it so easy for you. I mean, you could just about fill it out at your house and have some lazy fat ass come pick it up and drop it off for you,
Yeah.
And you got 6 weeks before the actual voting day to vote. So, and you can vote anywhere in the county during that time. It doesn't even have to be in your district, So, so they've made it as simple and easy as possible. So it's just mind blowing that they don't show up. But they do complain a lot. You know what I mean? You hear them all over Facebook. They just complain and all that good stuff. So, let's see.
Well, I wonder if the 45-minute drive across town now that didn't exist also keeps people away at this point. I mean, I know this has been a historical thing. People historically never show up to commission meetings, but today it took me 30 minutes to go from, where was I at? I'm sorry. I believe I was out around Foothills Mall, and to get over to in front of Fort Craig School, it took 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you might as well try to go to the Shoney's, still take the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's. Anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. But you think I was just trying to throw out a humorous attempt at pointing out some of the fact that might be keeping voters away at this point, or keeping them away from the commission meetings at this point. But there again, 7 o'clock on what is it, every fourth Tuesday or something other like that. Well, trying to remember that schedule, and then it's also, right at people's work day whenever they're trying to get their kids to school, kids to sports, or feed them dinner or whatever. I mean, and I get it. They have to do it at certain hours because they have jobs as well. But anyways, there's all kind of factors that lead into people not showing up to commission. But it would, to y'all's point, it would be really nice if people would start showing up.
And then he says, just like voting, people say it doesn't matter. He hits the BS button on that again. I tell people all the time it matters when they tell me my vote doesn't matter. And even with the way that I believe about the voting system, I still tell people my son's vote, because I made sure that it was important. You know what I mean? And then especially like this last go around, me and my son collaborated on the people in his district. You know what I mean? And it's important. Again, I think it can be manipulated. There's as much proof of that as there is people that not showing up for voting. But I try not to let anybody walk away believing that their vote doesn't count.
Right.
So, hey, I just want to go ahead. Jason.
Voting counts for sure. You should vote, but explain to me why. I mean, it's awfully peculiar that Brad Bryant was being trained for his job for a year, and then he won the election.
Because, again, this is what I'm talking about, the 12 to 15,000 voters. He's been there a year. They think he's done a fine job, so just let him continue to carry on what he's doing. And not realizing everything that led up to that is probably – now, they'll say it's legal and ethical. I don't think it's ethical. It might be legal. But they groomed him. They placed him. They made sure he had all the tools at his assets from the taxpayers before that he was, before he was ever voted in. So the community sees that he's already doing the job. So just let him carry on when it should have never been. It should have been vacant or I don't know the whole process to how to make that work. But again, it's the people that don't vote that make this harder as far as that goes. But anyhow, man, there's been a bunch of people. James Richards, Catherine's was in the chat. Shannon Kirkland, Shirley Ann Rupert, Ed Reno, Farrah Fawcett, Farrah was in there. Sorry, and then Ford fan, who's always in there. Scrappy Dog, Kim, Heath. Heath was in there. I asked Heath to come on, but I asked him late, so I don't think he got the message until we were already on air. I didn't know if maybe he wanted to talk about some of the things that he sees, because he's on the Greenback side of things, right there on the Blount County Greenback line. I don't know if he's in. I want to believe he's on the Blount County line of Greenback, right? I think it's how that works. I don't know. You could ask Misty how that works. But I think it's where he's on it. But, he's had his run-ins too, but he's not dumb to what's going on as far as that are with the community. So I do want to talk about, guys, don't forget that September 12th, I don't know if you've called Parks and Recs or out the city of Alcoa. I called. I didn't argue with them when I told them that they gave out a permit that was basically illegal. They tried to explain like there was a good reason for them to be able to give the permit, but I just told them, look, I'm not here to argue. I just want to let you guys know that you should ask for a refund and deny the permit, and that was it. Then I called the city of Alcoa, said the same thing to them, not trying to let them give me any feedback on what they say. It does not matter to me. What matters to me is it's in a public venue. It's around children. And the Tennessee state law says you can't do that. So Parks and Recs needs to refund Blount Pride and that lady their $185 back and remove the permit and tell them to go pound sand. But I just wanted to make sure that – go ahead, Robert.
I wonder, seeing as they hand out a permit for something like that, would they hand out a permit to the Mouse's ear to do the exact same thing?
I don't know. Probably. It was $185. $185. Yeah, it was $185. I don't know. I coached football through Parks and Rec, and it was a money. I mean, we had to fundraise, we'd do all these things, man, and pay our dues and stuff. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying for them to operate, they got to have that money. So, and I'm just kidding.
Or I'll word it like this: are people allowed to take their kids to the strip club, to the Mouses here?
No, it's
anywhere like it.
Yeah, no, but they're going to say they're not stripping. I got a lot of dumbasses telling me that they had wrestling on Saturdays down there, and them men were in tights, but that was okay.
Sure.
Totally different. Just and I don't even respond to stuff like that because I'm like, yeah, that's a low IQ voter. You know, I mean, right there. I mean, it's a low IQ.
Then you'd have to look at that, like collegiate. You'd have to look at collegiate swimming then in that same kind of light if they're going to bring that kind of argument. I mean, you got women out there in bathing suits. You have men out there in the little Speedo trunks. I mean, it's just trying to create to what Ford Fan 365 said. Excuses are just that. They're excuses, and it's just a way of trying to create an excuse.
And we don't have to draw. We don't have to draw a line in the sand because it's already been drawn. The state says you can't do it. So remove the permit, refund them their money. Tell them to go pound sand, right?
One is in sexual nature, and the others are not in sexual nature.
Exactly. The other thing is on Thursday, the Caught Up episode this time is going to have me and Robert, and we're going to do an interview with Bristol Smith, right? That's his last name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they call him a controversial pastor, and he might be. I don't know. We're going to find out because he's going to get an hour or more to be able to talk about all the things that he's participated in. And when I mean participated in, he's been influential at stopping a couple of these Blount Pride drag type events. And so we'll get him on and see what he has to say about all of that. And but he'll be on Thursday, and I'll generate I'm not generating a live page. I'm just generating an ad, right, Robert? Because every time I try to do the other thing, it messes it up. So we'll just generate an ad.
It's going all weird.
It's for Thursday. It'll be at 7:45. We'll have Bristol on. I've never met him personally. I've talked to him twice now for a good extended period of time. And he seems like a pretty nice guy. You know what I'm saying? So he's passionate about protecting children and, keeping pedophiles away and trafficking and groomers and drag shows. So since it's going to happen, so far, part of it's been approved for September 12th. If we just keep talking about it, it'll shut them all up eventually, and hopefully they won't approve any special permit for any of it. So I was trying to think of anything else.
Just something to throw out there, since some of the hot topic was getting people to vote. I think we need to really push people to get registered to vote. I mean, it's not 1945 anymore. It's rather easy to get registered to vote. Find out what your precinct is. You can find that out whenever you register to vote, and I hope it just. We need to push it. It's our civic duty to vote, and there again, if we get more people to register to vote, it creates transparency. It creates accountability. And so
there's about 40 more thousand that's unregistered.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Look, man, your kids nowadays are born with a tablet in their hand.
Yeah.
And they pop out of the womb, and right there's a tablet. A 5-year-old could get on the blountcounty.gov and register to vote. It's that simple. I mean, when I moved, I got on that site, changed my address, and changed my district, and they mailed me my new voter registration card. You know what I mean? So no longer do I vote at William Blount. I vote at Heritage High School. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's that simple. Again, they have made it so easy for you to vote. To say that you don't have time, like Ford Fan 365 says, excuses are just excuses. That's it. There is no excuse not to show up and vote. So
Yeah.
when you
And there again, to your point earlier, this is not something that's spoken about in school or taught. Yet at the same time, we have people that are 17 and 18 that are on the verge of going and being assigned a rifle. There needs to be some type of mandatory class, not necessarily a full semester, but taught in say like a U.S. government class or whatever, where it is heavily discussed, tested, the whole bit about voting, the voting process, everything that has to do with voting. I mean, we didn't have civics class whenever I was in high school.
I did.
Okay, and see, it went out evidently right because you graduated in 92.
92, yeah.
Yeah,
I had it as a freshman civics class.
Yeah.
It was a prerequisite to graduate, and it
Yeah.
taught us the founding. We got showed that when you get pulled over at 16 years old, you don't have to answer a question. You just hand him your driver's license and your registration, and if he asks you where you were going, my teacher told him you don't have to tell him where you're going because it's none of his business. You handed him the right. Obviously, there was a reason you got pulled over. Write the ticket or not write the ticket. He didn't tell us to be an ass or anything like that. He just said anything you say or do can be used against you in the court of law. So if you're being written a ticket and then you go to defend yourself, but yet you gave this long explanation, and now we got all the cameras and everything else, that information that you freely gave him can now be used against you in the court of law. So I learned that. The other thing we did debates, mock debates. You got all these idiot commissioners in this going, well, you can't do debates. It'll cost taxpayers for this, that, and the other. And then you got, they got their gatekeepers going, and then everybody will argue about the questions. It's done in a setting with the moderator. We did mock debates. I mean, we did it, this is what we were going on. That was what they were going on. The teacher was the moderator. The class submitted the questions, and so they sort of got what they were looking for as far as answers and stuff like that. But to sit across from somebody and debate them against what you believe in your stands, and you might get your ass handed to you, means you might lose your vote. You know what I'm saying? So it's coffee and cakes, and it's meet and greets, and it's all these other things, and it's not a real debate.
No hard politicking.
No hard politicking, And again, this country wasn't built on, you did a fantastic job today. It was built on conflict, blood, and sweat. You know what I mean? So you shouldn't have to give somebody, a compliment every time you're doing a fantastic job. I know you voted no 13 out of the 15 times, but you're doing a fantastic job up there. You're really not listening to your constituents, but I don't want to offend you because I don't want there to be a conflict. And you know what I mean? That stuff didn't exist. Conflict, disagreement, dialogue, all these things is what generated to where we are now. And so civics class has been taken away. And that's why it was important for me to let my sons know it's important to vote. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you this then.
What's that?
It was taken. You just said civics class was taken away. Gee, I wonder if that was by design.
I say that too.
An ignorant society is easy to control.
But a judge will tell you ignorance is no excuse of the law.
Exactly.
So, I mean, what is it? So we're making sure that these kids know how to do super math, that unless you go to college and do something, that math, it means nothing to you. I took basic math. I took a little bit of algebra. I became a carpenter. I took building trades in high school, a trade. I've been a carpenter for 30 some years now. You know what I mean? I use fractions, this, that, and the other. I never used letters and numbers, but that wasn't the skill that I was going in, but it was pushed. You got to have algebra 1 as a prerequisite to graduate, to go to college. I wasn't going to college. You know what I mean? It just, so it some of these things are designed to do, I guess, for us to compete on a global level while we forget about the culture and the civics that is important to the community,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it needs to be reinstated is what needs to happen.
They probably call it history class.
Yeah. which, you know, in history class, they're not discussing the civics side
Right.
of things, you
But
know?
there's like a small part of civics in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of it, you know, so we actually took a civics class, you know, it was like a half a semester or something. You know what I mean? So it was great. I loved it. It was cool as hell. Especially now where I'm at in life. I'll tell you the other thing we had to take. We had to take home economics. I had to learn how to cook an egg. I had to sew a pillow. I had to make an apron. You know, all these things, and it was. But these were supposed to be life skills that you took with you after you left school. You know, I don't. My kids don't know how to sew. I can sew anything that they need. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a suit maker. Don't you say it, Jason. I can see it written all over.
I need some jeans hemmed up.
Somewhere, but
Brian's
anyway.
gonna be up at Dollywood working as a seamstress and you know, doing patchwork stuff up there.
That's funny, but the basics anyway. We took basic math. Basic math gave you a checkbook, basically how to run a budget in a home. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if those things are still in existence in school. I don't think they do that quite that way. Like I said, it probably happens on a small scale over a big curriculum.
We were when I went through it was that was called adult living.
Yep.
Adult living.
Yeah, and it was basically what you're talking about, cooking and I mean not cooking, but writing a check and stuff like that.
I mean, what it takes to run a house. Which,
yeah.
Let me tell you something. My parents were raised that you didn't talk about your budget and money, and if you was behind on bills. So my whole life, we never discussed this much money in the bank. Took care of this much of the bills, groceries, you know, this, that, and the other. I mean, once I got a little bit older, I'm sure I kind of figured out. But when I became an adult, like for real, I was like, shit. Thank God I had business math because, you know, and then when my kids were growing up, I probably gave them too much information. I'm in the hole. We can't afford to do that.
Yeah, I'll tell my kids stuff. Stop asking for that crap.
Stop asking for that crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
My daughter wanted a Range Rover for her first car. I said, "Do I look like Range Rover money?"
Hey, something that's going through right now with it's been brought up again with the commission that y'all need to clue in on is the wastewater.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all need it. It's coming down the pipe, and they've already brought it forth several times before. It's been voted down, but there was some very good, very strong arguments presented the other day that from the commission, and they've got it on a standstill right now. And so, y'all, that might be a hot topic that we need to discuss soon. You know,
you were freezing up. What is it about? What is it? What is that about?
The wastewater issue and utilities, and it's also what else is also tied into it is they're trying to treat it as a way it's tied into that whole deal where they don't want you to be able to wash your own car in your own driveway and whatnot on your own property. Yet
they're still talking about that.
Yep, which we have 25 car washes around town now.
Freaking! I swear, man, them people are.
Probably more than that.
Hey,
that's why
I'm gonna say this again. The EPA, that's their job to let us know what we can and can't wash down the drain.
So I know. Say it again, Jason. Say it again, Jason.
It's not Blount County Commissioners. The EPA already does that. There's no need to micromanage a federal government entity. They already done it.
Well, that's just it. The commission has voted it down. It's been brought forth by other committees.
Yep.
Oh.
Ford fan said it was killed again last Thursday at the meeting, but it will be coming back.
Yes, and the citizens need to become. We need to get this out in front of everybody, out in public, because it's a big damn deal, and I think to me, well, it's up there with the Pellissippi Parkway deal.
It's a
big deal that's infringing upon our rights, and just like a couple of commissioners, there's some language in there where the enforcement of law by by uniformed officers is in some of the language as to upholding this deal with the wastewater. So it's infringing upon it's
a gray line.
It's a foot in the door approach to okay, if you do disregard what we say, you will be arrested for washing your vehicle in the driveway or whatever they want to dream up. It's a really slippery slope, and it needs to be brought out in the public's eye.
So it says Hedrick will not let it die. He paid $90,000 for a study to get it started.
Yeah,
Scrappy Dog says it's all about the data centers.
I was trying to keep from saying any names.
Well, that's fine. Somebody else did. You don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
James Richards said, this is funny as hell. That permit issued is a real drag.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. He said it's another low blow handed to the community. Oh, nice. Man. Oh, man. All right, guys. I think we need to get out of here. We probably tore it up enough.
You're exactly right, Ford Fan 365. Just wants to add options.
Why are we paying $90,000 for another study? How many studies have we probably put enough money in studies we could be out of debt between towns in Louisville, Blount County. 80,000 here, 90,000 there. I mean, I wonder who they're all tied to. What?
Yeah. But funny thing is, while there are studies being done, you also see where there's studies not being done where they really need to be done. I mean, I just spoke to somebody else about another situation the other day where I can't remember. I apologize.
No. I'm just laughing at the comments because we said Hedrick and he said he don't give a crap. He'll call people out. Yeah. We like that. Yeah. We censor nobody, that's for sure. So
well, I'm trying to run a clean race, and I don't want to use names and whatnot, and potentially face repercussions for it.
How do you run a clean race?
I'm right there with you. I don't give a shit either, and I'll call people out, but I am trying to run a clean race because I know that I have some papers right.
And he comes back and says it's already done, and the commission didn't prove it either. That goes. That's twice he's answered my questions tonight. So these are the people that have been voted in, but it's already done and the commission didn't approve it either. So anyway. All right.
Who is it? What committees is wanting that? You said
one wasn't voted in, one was appointed.
I'm not
surely she's the one.
I can't watch my damn call.
Well, that's because you live on the wrong side of town, Jason. You come out and live my way.
I'm not going to be told that I can't watch
I was going to say,
I'll piss in the yard if I want to. I mean, that's just what it is. That's what
I
living
remember
in is about.
I remember being in Colorado where they were doing this.
He said that the $90,000 for the study was already done and commission didn't prove it.
I believe that.
I still stand on what I said.
There was a time years ago when I was out in Colorado, and my friends lived out there, and it was funny because everybody in the neighborhood on one side of the road was out watering their lawn, and nobody was on this side. And I'm like, "What's this about?" And there's like, "Well, this, only certain people, certain days can water their lawn."
Oh.
Well, they were also curtailing the water. You can only take showers, certain. They were curtailing the water usage that much to where you could only take a shower a day, and it's like, hold up a second, is this America or not? What's going on? And that, like I said, this was years ago, and that is what has now started floating this way, and that ideology, it's frustrating. And we got people in office that support things like that. So be ready for it.
Be ready for it. All right. You guys good? Yeah.
Not now.
Robert, I'll see you on Thursday for sure.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Matt, you're more than welcome to come on anytime you want to.
I
You want to say something?
appreciate it.
You want to say something about you before you go? Matt Snow, right in.
I'm still in the race. I just stop. I don't quit. I'm not a quitter. I've been, because we know I've been disqualified because I would not perjure myself. But anyways, that's a whole nother discussion. I'm still. I have this. Have y'all seen the digital message board that I have? The highway digital message board that was donated to me.
I seen it, but where's it at?
It's awesome. Well, I keep them moving around. I have access to another one. I not had time to go pick up, but what I'm doing is I'm just setting them up in random places for like 2 days, and then whenever I pick up the other one, I'm just going to drive around town with it.
It's funny because you
have
told me
someone else drive around.
you told me where it was at, and I went to go take a picture of it. It was gone. I was like, "Damn it, man!"
Yeah, I don't want to wear out my welcomes, so I'm just doing it like 2 days in a spot, and so, but it's fun, it's unique, and but no, I'm we can still. Here's what the message I need to get across. We still need, if you believe in what I say and what I put out there, and you feel that I'm fit to be a candidate, write my name in, and then we will try to get the number of the tally of votes out in the public, because that it goes back to what we were speaking to earlier. They're taking our voice away from us. They're taking our vote away from us. Well, hold up. Is that not unconstitutional? So let's, hey, election committee. No. The people want to see the number of votes. I don't care what kind of excuse you have. We want to see the number of votes. So, that's where I'm at with it. And I might look foolish, but at the same time, it's generating things that I think needs to be generated. So,
all right. Jason, you got any no good thoughts on the way out? Right.
No.
Okay. He's like, no. We got to keep him talking. Let's see. Catherine says we're making criminals out of car washes, so we can conserve them for
Woody, let me park my sign at your. Hey Woody,
Felon.
let me park my sign at your place on Big Springs.
What's that?
I was telling Woody, let me park my sign, my digital billboard at his place on Big Springs or on Morganton for a couple days.
Did you see what he wrote? You can't plant certain species of plants in your own yard, and if it passes, I found this out Thursday night.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's crazy.
He said go to the meetings, people. We've been to the meetings, that's for sure. They just sometimes you get tired of going to the meetings.
Did they speak? They said they talked about that at the meeting.
I don't know. He said, and you can't. He did it like capital. You can't plant certain species of plants in your own yard. If it passes, I found this out Thursday night. So
I had to go back and watch the replay on that one.
Must be discussing.
That's why I say this is coming down the pipe, and we need to get ahead of it. We need to get it out in front of the citizens. It needs to be a hot topic. Just
thanks, Woody. Thanks, Ford. Fan 365. What else? Let's see. It says Matt, take a ride down Chota Road and Allegheny, but that's out of our district, ain't it? Chota Road, that's out there towards Tellico Village, right?
I think Chota and Allegheny is still Blount County.
Okay.
No, he says he doesn't own Woody's anymore. Did I say that, Woody?
Right.
Did I say I know you didn't own Woody's anymore?
Well, Matt was asking to put his sign there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you can't because he doesn't own Woody's anymore. Akers talking about it. He said Mike Akers.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It's been 2 hours. We have created... right?
Make sure y'all take a shower tonight. Nobody wants to smell you tomorrow.
That's right. You have a good evening, Matt.
You as well. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Thank you, everybody, for watching and the input.
All right. Dead Man Walking, we appreciate you. You have a good evening.
You too.
Say about it.
Bye.
Watchdog, we'll be back on Thursday. That ought to be pretty
Yeah.
controversial there. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope Steve, is it Steve? Starts with a W, his last name. Was it Wildsmith?
Oh, yeah.
I hope he's in the comments. We had a really good discussion, me and him, through PMs, because when he was talking about some of the comments that I made, and then I said something back to him, then I got on the PM and was like, why don't you come on the show? And I said something about him, and he was like, no, that's not who I am. And he's like, as we got talking, when it was all said and done, he's like, I really like you, Brian. I was like, cool. I said, you ought to come on the show. And he said, I will, as long as everybody understands this is where it's standing. I said, you just get on there and tell them. That's it, And he said, Matt, no, it was in 6 Mile. My bad. Chota and Allegheny. I don't know why I didn't think about 6 Mile. My bad, Scrappy Dog. Looking forward to it. Yeah. So, brother, I will see you Thursday at 7:45 then.
I'll be there, man.
Have a good evening.
You too, buddy. See y'all later.
All right, everybody. Thanks for all of the discussion in the chat. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. And you guys have a good evening. See you Thursday. Resolute Exposure is a social media platform. Almost all content on Resolute Exposure is created by citizen journalists. I share content created by citizen journalists who I believe to be the best at finding facts buried deep into the abyss, or outlets who I believe to be best for verifiable information. We have to operate within their system, and we only have the information that they allow us to have. These citizen journalists who nerd out on fact-finding missions and then add their opinion to better inform me to make the best choice for me in this war of narratives is Resolute. This information war is a battle for your mind and ultimately compliance. While mainstream media dismisses social platforms as mere echo chambers for fake news, independent spaces like this prove that shared content and live dialogue actually foster deeper critical thinking. So, I am excited to share the content in hopes you'll turn off mainstream media, who I believe is just a version of entertainment. So again, welcome to Resolute Exposure.
My heart, pumping all day long. Get me the morning when darkness comes.